Good evening, everybody. Episode 112 of So What's Been Happening on a Tuesday night, the 24th of October. Special guest tonight, Adelaide's own Jessica Luxx. We look forward to having a chat to her shortly in relation to music and her journey, and also just in general life, what also happens outside of music and what makes her tick. So a couple of releases over the last couple of years for Jessica, and a couple of great, exciting gigs coming up. Had some not long ago, but also some current gigs just about to jump on the road and head over to Melbourne. So look forward to catching up with Jessica live at a few gigs. So just before we do, I'd like to put a thank you out to Todd Bennett from 16 Hands High, who's put this to, or got us in touch, basically. Fantastic to have a great person in the stable looking after all your communication, PR needs and all sorts of things. So thank you, Todd, for helping out put this together. Just a couple of gigs that have popped up for this week. This Thursday, Davey Lane is jumping on stage with the Sparks from California. So this will be an interesting gig down at the Palais. It's been a last second put together gig. So Davey's going to be unbelievable because he's only got a couple of gigs coming up this year. So make sure you check that one out. Also, the Little Fates, the last of their residencies with Burning Grace, FJ and the Switch, and Little Fates is at the Evelyn Thursday night. And don't forget this weekend, who we interviewed last week, Font with 10 Gallon Head at Coburg RSL. So that's Sunday the 29th. So there's a few gigs there coming up. Also got a couple more shows coming up. Zoe Fox, we just had to move a couple of days, so we'll work that one out for the next week or so. But Justine McAllister, that's an exciting one, an unbelievable artist doing great things. We'll talk to her Thursday night, so look forward to that one. There's plenty more shows scheduled, so we'll keep you up to date with all that's coming up there. So, all right, tonight it's all about Jessica Luxx, so let's bring her up. Welcome to episode 112 of So What's Been Happening, Jessica.
Hi, how you going?
Very good, thanks. Thanks for joining me on a Tuesday night.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. It's much more fun than, I don't know, regular work.
Absolutely. I'm sure you'd rather be practicing or rehearsing for your upcoming gigs that you've got coming up in Melbourne. But you've had a few gigs recently over in Adelaide, I see. So that's pretty exciting, no doubt. Get the new music out there.
Yeah, no, they've been great. We just released the single The Temple not that long ago, and so these were kind of the launch gigs in Adelaide for those, and it was really fun to finally be playing the songs live and with the full band. So yeah, just kind of touching Adelaide first, and then we'll be off to Melbourne soon.
Very good. Very soon, actually. So in a week or so. So we'll talk about that one shortly as far as the dates and where to find you. But all right, we're going to go back a little bit in time, and we're going to go back to a very early days for you, Jessica. Tell us about this. And this is one of your first musical memories that I've stolen off your Instagram, so I hope you don't mind. But
no, that's great.
Definitely one of your first musical memories.
Yeah, it actually would be, I think. So that was I think it was like a Fisher Price microphone and cassette, and you the microphone was attached to it and the cassette went in it, and you could actually record yourself singing. And so, you know, back in the day, you could hit record on see the little red button, that's record. And we used to steal my mum's cassette tapes, because this was, you know, we're talking maybe like 93, maybe, I reckon, maybe 94. Yeah. And so I think it was 93 if I was 4. And you would put the cassette in and hit record, and so you could sing and record yourself. And my poor mum sacrificed many of her cassette tapes that she loved. So poor Enya didn't survive the Fisher-Price microphone escapades of my 4-year-old self.
And what else was, other than Enya, what else do you remember singing along to at that age?
I was recording over Enya.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. I thought that
Poor
might
Enya.
have got a bit of a run as well.
I did love Enya. I still do. What was I singing at the time? Do you know, I think a lot of them were just songs that I was making up on the spot. You know, I was 4 years old, so I was just making them up as I went along. But we had Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey on CD, and I loved those CDs. They were my favorite, and so I'm sure that they got a bit of a rendition on the recording device. But yeah, I think a lot of it was just making up my own little songs, and I loved doing that. I did it all the time when I was a kid.
Ever kept one of those tapes or found one after all these years?
Oh, I'll have to sift through my mum's cassettes and see if she's still got them somewhere. I do have some recordings of me singing at about, I reckon I was about 11 or 12. I've actually still got some of those, and I do have a video of me singing at 9, so I might have to try and dig that up and see if I can get it off of the old VHS and into some kind of digital form, because I think, yeah, you got to know where you come from.
That's right. The world needs to see, you're right. You need to see where the background all began. So obviously performing became a little bit natural to you as you've worked this little career over time that you didn't even realize was going to become a career, I guess, and be on stage eventually. But is this, at what kind of age did you feel that this was for you as far as performing?
Yeah, I honestly can say that it almost never crossed my mind not to. I wanted to be a singer. That was my, you know, growing up, I wanted to be a singer or I wanted to be a hairdresser. And, you know, after leaving, I left school early. I left school at 17, and I actually did a hairdressing apprenticeship. But I'd always, you know, performing was my favorite, and that's where I preferred to be, on the stage singing and, you know, just being immersed in music. So I don't think there was ever a time when I had that realization that that's what I would do. I just always did.
Yeah, interesting. And at what stage did the guitar make its entrance into your life?
Yeah, I picked up the guitar, I think I was about 13, and you know, I'd been writing these songs, and you know, I'd been playing keyboard as well and mucking around on that. But I really loved Jewel, and I really loved the Beatles, and I loved Joni Mitchell, and a lot of these musicians that I had really, you know, grown to love that style of music, and the way that I was sort of leaning with my own songwriting, even at 13, they were all really guitar based, kind of singer-songwriter kind of musicians. And so I taught myself guitar at 13 from my mum's guitar, which had been given to her by my uncle. And yeah, he gave me another guitar as well growing up. So yeah, I think I was about 13, and it was just this idea that I just wanted to be able to accompany myself, really. And I hadn't really sort of, you know, been hell-bent on becoming a guitarist or anything like that. I just wanted an instrument that I could travel with and, you know, just keep on writing my own songs.
Yeah, really interesting to hear kind of the switch from the keyboard. And you play both currently?
Yeah, I would really never really tell anybody too loudly that I play piano or keyboard, because there's zero finesse to my playing whatsoever. It's purely practical. And I just sort of use my theory knowledge to get myself around it. So there's nothing nice about my playing. I could just I can hit the right notes when they're needed. That's about it.
Sure. And does the piano, does it even become part of your songwriting process now?
It actually does. I find that the sets of guitar of chords that I gravitate towards on guitar are different to the chords that I gravitate towards on piano. And I use piano because I teach vocals, and I use piano for that, and I do a lot of scale work with my students. And when I'm mucking around with chords and things like that, making up scales or little sort of singing activities, I sort of discover these little sets of chords that I really like together. So if it's a piano song, generally it will gravitate onto guitar so that I can play it live. But yeah, it's a really different feel. And what I would do sort of like rhythm wise is different on a piano to what I would do on a guitar. So I think it's nice to have a few different instruments, because it gets you out of your comfort zone and gets you out of your normal songwriting habits. Like, I've definitely got my guitar songwriting habits, but when I pick up the banjo or the auto harp or something like that, the way I approach those instruments change the way I would write a song. So I'm really grateful to be able to play a few different instruments and approach songwriting in different ways each time I kind of play with a different instrument.
Yeah, nice. We're going to go back to a song from, I think it's only 2 years ago now. It wasn't that long ago.
It flew by.
Your other release, was during probably the hard times, no doubt, for everyone. Was this song kind of in the can pre-COVID, or was it something that kind of was born during and out of COVID?
I think it was in the mix of it all. And it was, when I wrote this song, there was a lot going on, and I was sort of digesting a bunch of things that were going on with people around me and COVID. And I think, depending on how you look at this song, it can mean so many different things. And even for me, almost every time that I play it, it means something different to me. So I hope it can be something that people can listen to and just take their own spin on it, whatever it kind of happens to resonate with them at the time.
Okay, well, we're going to play a couple of minutes of it in a second, but what we're going to do is also bring up the cover that I think you used for it. Just tell us a little bit about where this was shot. I love it. Great shot.
This was in Palomino Studios in Maiponga, where I recorded it. And my husband, I love this photo because it's actually through a glass window. And my husband was sort of like, going around taking snaps of everybody. And I think this must have been, right as I was tracking something. And I would say it was the vocals. And I've just popped the cans on, ready to go. And he snapped the perfect moment when I think I was, happy and nervous and excited and, try to be switched on, ready to record a good take. So I really love this photo. It kind of captured the vibe of the recording on the day.
Yeah, you're 100% right. It's a beautiful shot. Incredibly, some of those weird captured moments become album covers or single covers in this case. So
there's something really authentic and present about it that I like.
Yep, for sure. And such a special moment from a pretty strong title, but we'll talk about that in a second. So here it is, Heavy Lifting. We're going to play a couple of minutes.
There's a darkness, a lonely silence that keeps waiting like a freight train. Pack your bags up, you are leaving, you'll arrive at dawn. Roll the covers, counting blessings, all more praise to what I'm so
And after that special spot, you're going to have to tune into YouTube and have a look at the rest of the song because it's a great clip. It's really well put together. Jessica, just tell us a little bit about the inspiration to put a lot of work has gone into this clip. It might not seem, I don't know. Does it seem like it for you as well? Get back at those times, but there's so much work gone into this.
I haven't watched the clip back in ages, so it's so nice. So I almost forget how much I love it, and then I watch it back, and I'm so happy every time I see it. It was a lot of work. It was I worked with a young sort of filmmaker named Brian Casey, and I'm pretty sure he's interstate now. And yeah, I was put onto him by some friends, sort of mutual friends, and I instantly knew that he understood the vision that I wanted with this song. Like, I've been pondering over the storyline, and I wanted it to be, this sort of this woman, just in the clip, not for always the song, but just for the clip's sake. I wanted it to be from this woman who had kind of just wanted adventure, and so she was kind of tired of the way that things were, and she's gone to look for something else. And I didn't want it to be like too specific, and I wanted even the storyline itself to be open to the person watching and for interpretation. And it was so amazing that Ryan was able to capture that the same way, the sort of like elusiveness, and it doesn't necessarily have an ending. The ending is almost the beginning in a way, but it was, we filmed that over 2 days, and so there was all the sections with the beautiful Jackie, who played our character Rose. And we filmed all of her parts, and that took, it took hours. It took all day. And, these things take a lot of time. Like you said, it was a lot of work. And then we filmed the live sections at Kui Art House, which is here in Adelaide on the Flurio. And the beautiful Lauren Kate owns that venue, and she does amazing things there. So it was really special. So many amazing sort of parts just kind of came together. And yeah, I'm still really excited about it. It's been a long time since I've watched it, so it's fun.
Yeah, it should be. Draw some more inspiration from putting together such a great song. It's a real journey song for me, and it's a real catchy tune. Lots of highs and lows in the vocals, which I think is really cool from yourself. Obviously, displaying the range and talent that you've got. That's something that's across both your songs at the moment.
Thank you.
As far as plenty of range and plenty of room to go. It's kind of almost, there's sections there where you're almost playing almost a solo with your voice. I think it's fantastic. So keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Obviously being a vocal coach yourself and singing as part of your life, how hard is it to continue to kind of refine your craft of the singing process itself?
I think the place that I sing from, and the place that I encourage my students when I'm working with them to sing from, learning never ever ends, and I'm always refining what I do and working on myself and my voice. But I think what I would constantly be aiming for, and what I hope to always aim for, is for authenticity to come first, and so for the song itself to come first. And then what I love about doing vocal training and vocal coaching and always working on those things is how the vocal structure works to bring across certain emotions. So when the larynx is low and we're singing sort of like lower sobby kind of sounds, it's to emote a more intimate and sometimes sad kind of feeling. Or if it's a bright sound, then we'll use a bright kind of springy kind of vocal condition. And I love that, because to me it's like a endless kind of palette of tools that I get to play with. And I also love recording for that same reason, that I can kind of listen back and go, did that sort of bring across the feeling that I'm really trying to get out of this song? And did I? And I think when you're singing from the heart, often everything else follows suit. But it is fun to have a few sort of practical things that I can pull apart, like of crumbs. I got all my words tangled, fall upon when I need them.
Yeah. You mentioned that song kind of draws on different emotions, maybe at different times when you've either watching it or recorded it back. What's that really emoting for you now, just as you kind of watch that again?
I think that the thing that's kind of really come to me personally is that heavy lifting really felt like it was a journey of, being fed up with things and sort of, breaking away from some things and noticing where there's some maybe like unsettled kind of feelings and looking for change and adventure. And then the temple is like almost the antidote for that. Like it's almost like the sort of the grown up version in a way. Like it's the temple I wrote very similarly to heavy lifting. Heavy lifting was one of those songs where it all came out in one go, and I wrote the whole entire song in maybe under an hour kind of thing. It was one of those crazy moments where it all came out and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got this finished song. I can't believe that it sort of happened that quickly. It doesn't always. And then the temple was the same. I remember writing it, and it was on a harvest moon that was big and full and yellow. And again, it was just like I wrote it one night. I'd been out looking at the moon, which I often do, and the song just came out. And yeah, it really, again, similar to heavy lifting, every time I play it, every time I work with it, like while I'm recording it, it takes on different meanings for me. So yeah, I think it's for me personally at the moment, it's the journey between the two that I'm really enjoying, being able to be present in my own music.
Yeah. So was the natural kind of follow-up really for you for this next song? Follow-up from the first one? They kind of went together in the story almost. Yeah. All right, we're going to just bring up the album cover. It's a little bit, let's go with that so we can see it a little bit closer to the temple. Just tell us a little bit about that album cover before we play the film, the clip itself.
Yeah, so this is so my amazing manager who you so beautifully introduced at the beginning. He Todd Richmond Bennett is a digital designer and just a designer of all sorts, and has this unbelievable eye for design and detail. Nothing is overlooked when Todd's dealing with it, and this is his design, and so he came up with this. And we'd spoken about the song and some of the references, and I'm a very spiritual person, and so I talk to him all the time and gnaw his ear off about all of the archetypes and things like that I love. And I resonate really strongly with a goddess called Hecate, who really embodies strength and the ability to sort of like move with whatever you're given at the time. And her emblem is the snake, and it's all included here. And so I didn't ask for any of this. This is all Todd's amazing work, just really pulling together what he felt the essence of the song was, and from a beautiful, strong image perspective of what he knew would also look great online and on different platforms. So it's just, in my opinion, it's perfect. I absolutely love it. And we've put this on the t-shirts too, and people have been wearing their t-shirts, so they like it too.
Very good. Yeah, super multi-purpose, and well done, Todd. Mr. Todd Bennett. It's an absolute ripper. I'm discovering more and more about your hidden talents, or the talents I didn't know about. So much more you've got to offer. And how nice is it to have someone like Todd, obviously in your stable, representing you at such a a bit of a guiding light, I guess.
Oh, honestly, it's, I've been a musician for a long time, working in, cover bands and, writing my own music. But for somebody else to see what you do and take it seriously, and just to kind of see a path and a vision for you, it's like there's not a day that goes by that I'm not grateful for everything that he does for me and my music. And just to have somebody kind of rooting for you and, sort of pushing you along and keeping you accountable. I think the accountability is the hardest thing when you're a solo musician, to when things dip or you lose momentum, it's like I don't have that luxury anymore. I don't get to lose momentum. Todd's behind me just like keeping things going. And I love his music too, so I think there's a mutual respect for each other, for our vision and the way that we write. And yeah, just a real deep love of music. And I think that's what, that's what our relationship as manager and musician are built upon, is just a really deep love of music.
Yeah, fantastic. And how did you guys meet?
We met, I'm pretty sure we met at a gig. So I was doing some backing vocals, and Todd was there, and we met via Travis Dempsey, who Travis was playing drums in the band, and Travis and Todd have been friends for a really long time. And Travis came and introduced us, and we started chatting, and I think we all kind of hung backstage for quite a while, finishing off our wine and talking music. So yeah, I think, when you're a musician and you've got the people around you who you just love to ramble about music and all the bands you love for ages, then it's a good cohort. It's my idea of fun.
Absolutely. All right, here it is, The Temple. We're going to play a minute or so. Now this is a good clip. Absolutely, it's fantastic. Well done.
Shiny silver armor. Speak the truth, even when it burns like hell. Reap the fruits that are owed to you, and take no prisoners to the temple. Take no prisoners to the temple. Harvest moon, when it's big and falling yellow. Drink me in. By the day you make a trade for a night of earthly pleasures, fall like rain, even if it means giving in. Send beyond what was told to you, and take no prisoners to the temple. Take no prisoners to the temple.
What a clip.
Thank you.
Firstly, congratulations on the song. You must be super proud of how this one's come up. The clip itself, it's like a little mini film almost. It's so well put together. Tell us a little bit about how this one came together.
Yeah, thank you. I am really proud of this song. I worked with Ryan Martin-John in recording this song, and he's an incredible producer. He really draws the very, very best out of you. And when we were recording, we tried things that were like, I've never done before, like but through the whole track, and you would have to listen really closely for this, through the whole track there's actually a whisper track that's through the entire song, where I whispered the whole song. And he said it to me, he was like, oh, I want you to try and whisper this part. And I was like, oh my God, that's gonna sound so lame. And I was like, that's fine, I'll give it a go. And then he was like, just trust me, because I reckon it's going to be really cool. And I listened to it back, and the way that he'd mixed it in, it's like you would never know, but it just gave this incredible depth and texture to the song that just helped it, encompass everything that the song itself was about. So I'm really proud of that. And I got to work with, my amazing musicians who are on heavy lifting. And then also the addition of Paul Cooper, who played on the banjo. So that was really fun. And then the clip, we did work really hard on, and the clip I am really proud of, because that was really super duper DIY. We didn't have a budget or anything for this one. So it was like we had to do everything ourselves. And so there was my husband and a beautiful woman who runs an amazing sort of women-centered movement called She Is Seen, Libby Tozer. And we went out to some of the beautiful places here in Adelaide, on Ghana and Paramount country. And we filmed all of ourselves. And everyone just, came dressed in their white. And it was amazing too, because it had, it opens with my daughter running into the forest. My mum, my sister, and my best friends are in the clip. So it was really special to be able to do that. And then, I edited the whole thing myself, and Libby came and helped a couple of times to, cast her amazing view on it. But I had to learn how to edit videos from scratch fairly well. And just figure it all out. It took ages, it took a really long time. So I'm really proud of this one. And I think the rawness of it is kind of what I wanted. And I there's still things I look at and I was like, I might change this or I might change that. But, it is what it is. And I think, as human beings, we just do the best we can, when we can. And that was what we came up with without doing the best we could.
It's brilliant. I love it. So just on that, at what point did you consider it to be ready? Was it a time constraint or was it okay, that's enough. I've done enough.
Time constraint. Todd was like, you need to get this video out. It needs to get out. And we needed to sort of put it out at a similar time. The launch shows were booked. And so Todd's like, video needs to be out. And that was exactly what I needed to kind of go, yep, cool, let's knuckle down and settle. And that was I'm good with a deadline. I work well with a deadline, a bit of pressure. So that was I think otherwise I would have mucked around with it for so long and I would have never really known when it was done. I think when you do something like that yourself, I don't know if it's ever done, I could have kept going and changing things around, and we had hours and hours of footage to play with. And we had the best time. So, that was hard too, to sift through the footage and try to find what was best when it really shows how, we were so there and having a great time hanging out together. And the best footage was just what I could pick from really in the end.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because then you're back to a time constraint as far as the actual length of the song to cut that in. So it's like you said, you could have gone forever, but what a beautiful moment to be able to have all the girls in your family and extended family to have as part of this, documented piece of history. Now it's really nice.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a huge something that I'm really grateful that we have. We've got this forever now, and hopefully my daughter will look back on it and remember all the fun things about the day. She had such a good time. So the other fun thing about this was that, so I'm also a seamstress, and I sewed my dress from scratch, and I made hers too. And she designed her dress, and we picked out the fabric, and she, she really got to have a hands-on kind of creative experience too. And I hope that she looks back on that and, thinks about all the fun that we had, just, being creative and building something from nothing. And that's kind of what the song's about, and what the energy around the song is, just growing and breaking rules and just, coming up with what you can and doing the best with what you've got.
Yeah, it's how can you not enjoy that, that line basically of, being able to just basically enjoy what you've got. That's pretty much how it comes across to me. So it's well done. Congratulations to everyone involved. And it's on the up now. You've set yourself a very high bar for the next few songs, hopefully, to come out. But let's touch on the gigs you got coming up in Melbourne first. This is a big one, George Lane. You are in for an absolute treat. You mentioned you hadn't been to Melbourne and hadn't for a long time, and especially these venues, which, to be honest, haven't been around for that long. George Lane, if you've seen any footage of George Lane, is a beautiful, intimate lounge room, effectively, big lounge room.
The photos are amazing. Yeah, I'm
absolutely
really
great feel.
excited to play here. I think I'll be very, very cozy and comfortable by the looks of things. So I'm really, really looking forward to playing there. That's yeah, and the you know, as we've been sort of booking these shows and you know, meeting people and networking with the venues there, the people who you know, we've kind of gone through for George Lane have just been so amazing and kind
Yeah.
and just yeah, supporting me and supporting us with what we're trying to do. So yeah, it's been really fun so far. Even just we're not even there yet, and I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh, big shout out to Lockie and John from George Lane, who are the most incredible hosts. One behind the bar and one up front, making you all feel welcome. They're an
Oh, I
absolute
can't wait to
star.
meet you properly in person.
Absolutely. So, and we mustn't forget the guys on sound there as well. That's part of the magic too. So we look forward
Oh,
to
can't wait.
yeah, absolutely. And the 4th of November, that's Saturday, George Lane, 3:00 start. So it's an early one.
It's an early one, so you've still got time to go out and celebrate afterwards. Come and have a
Absolutely.
drink with us.
Yes, that's right. Well, this one could kick into the night. Who knows?
Who
But tell us a little
knows?
bit about
Anything can happen.
who else is on the lineup with you.
Yeah, so this is exciting because we have the gorgeous Ruby Jones playing with this one as well. So that's going to be really, really fun. So yeah, I haven't met Ruby in person, but I am aware of all the amazing things she does. So I'm really excited for there. And I've got Tom Kneebone, who's actually playing through the whole tour with me on guitar. And it's an absolute treat to be able to work with Tom. He really sort of takes my sound and elevates it. And I don't know, just when you're writing a song, you know, you hope for different things and you hope for sort of textures to come out, and Tom will just pull the magic from, you know, something floating around and just, you know, bring it into the moment. So it's just a duo show, but I feel very excited to to be able to still present this soundscape to Melbourne.
Beautiful. And let's touch on the gigs that are coming up in that trip to Melbourne. So Thursday the 2nd at Merry Creek Tavern. Now that shot you had where you recorded in your previous song, that Merry Creek is very similar to that. Think tiny lounge room now, in beautiful velvet curtain and small stage, incredible sound, really well done. So you really this will be a super intimate. It's a very small venue, but that's what's going to be the magic of this night. Trust me. Anyone that's up close, we talk about vocals and capturing your vocals. I guarantee you'll be suitably impressed by the end of the night of how well it was captured. So look forward to that one at Merry Creek. And then off to Castlemaine, the tap room on the Friday night. So you've got a busy 4 days there for sure. A bit of driving, but super exciting to be at the tap room, which is a great venue as well. Hopefully a good Friday night at the tap room. So was it a duo for all 4 of these gigs, or how's it going to play out?
Yeah, duo for all 4. Todd's going to open for I can't remember which show he's opening for. It's either the tap room one or the one in Brunswick that Todd's going to do an opening set for as well. So you'll get to hear some of his amazingness and see one of, like you said, one of the many skills that he has. And then me and Tom playing for the rest of them. Beautiful.
So George Lane as well, we just mentioned. And then on Sunday at the Union, and you'll love the Union Hotel in Brunswick. It's a family-friendly kind of open bar with a great back room area. The front bar, people just come in all day, and it'll be really exciting. Is that an afternoon as well?
That one, yeah, that's an afternoon one as well. That's 3:30.
Yeah, perfect.
So that'll be I love playing Sunday afternoon shows. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to them all. That's going to be
Well, if you had said to me, pick me a perfect Sunday afternoon bar, you've nailed it in one. So this should be a really exciting tour for you. So
great.
Congrats to everyone that's helped put this tour together. What a great way to launch a single. What else is in the pipeline for you after this single's out in the big world and this tour's done?
Yeah. So I've got another single that is in the works now. So we've got a couple of things recorded, So there's definitely some things on the way. So we're just kind of up to the point now, sort of coming out of the the temple zone, and into thinking about the next song. And so much of what I love about music is creating the concepts around it. So I'm kind of just waiting for a bit of a like a video concept and things like that to drop in for the next tune, and we can start to work on all of the fun stuff to do with that. And then the plan is to keep going with the album. So looking at that, hopefully probably later on next year, by the time that we've done everything that it takes to get something like that finished. So yeah, that's the plan. A couple more singles and a big fat album.
Beautiful.
And then a big fat tour to go with the album too.
Yeah, and to pay for it. Yeah, and plenty of single.
And to pay for it. Yeah, that's the fun part. Yeah, just you can do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must touch on a couple of picks. Talk to me about this is like a little timeless classic. This great pick, and just talk to me a little bit about that incredible instrument. I'll let you do the honors.
Yeah, so this is an auto harp. And I absolutely adore it, despite what my band have to say about the old twangy, jangly auto harp. And so you can see there I'm kind of pressing on some little white keys. The instrument has about 36 to, was it 36 or 38 strings? It's got a lot of strings. And it's all just chromatic from, I think it's F or F sharp down at the bottom to all the way up to a really high C. And it just goes in succession all the way up. And as you press down on one of those white keys, it mutes down any strings that are not within the chord. So if you're pressing the C button, it mutes anything that's not in the key of C. And then you strum. You can see my other hand there in the middle there, strumming along the strings, and it makes a beautiful ringy kind of country sound. And there's not many around. Well, actually, I think there's a lot around, but not very many people play them. I think a lot of people, they say that their granddad had one and they have no idea what it does. And that's how I ended up with mine. But I had first seen them used by the Carter family and Mother Maybelle. You can find clips on her on YouTube of her playing her auto harp, and she's incredible at it. Another person who plays really amazing is the gorgeous drag queen Trixie Mattel. She plays the auto harp like unbelievably as well. So it's just so fun, and it always gets a bit of attention at gigs because oftentimes people haven't seen one before or they haven't seen one in a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real timeless piece of history that's made its welcome back on stage, no doubt. And there are people playing it around for sure. Shout out to Georgia Knight, who's a young up and coming artist. If you haven't seen her, please look her up. She's a star, and she basically plays a lot of guitar, droney kind of guitar, but also mixes in the auto harp. So there you go. There's another
a fellow auto harp buddy.
There you go. So you might have to connect when you're in Melbourne.
So that's exciting.
Yeah, definitely. A couple more things before we go. I just want to touch on some great photography and shots that you've kind of put together in amongst this publicity for your latest kind of tour. Just tell us a little bit about a couple of these shots.
Yeah. So I think this, as far as the placement of this was the Todd suggestion. I can't remember who we had. My husband, Joshua, and Libby and Todd all taking photos that day. And I have a feeling this one might be Joshua. And then all of us kind of went in on editing them too. So they've been, it was a team approach. But yeah, just, the apple with the, Garden of Eden kind of feel, and all the wine and the feathers and the flowers in the background. So we just wanted to create this just wild feast was the end of the video. So you'll have to go and see the end of the video to go and see the wild feast that happens at the end there. Lots of candles and fun debauchery, all the good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever thought about putting on a little intimate gig in amongst that candlelight kind of feel? I reckon it'd really be you.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's my absolute aesthetic, I reckon. So that would be beautiful.
Okay, there you go. And just a couple of behind the scenes type shots from your last album. A lot of people don't get to kind of see how a lot of this stuff comes together. So I think it was great that you put a couple of things up on your Instagram over time and kind of put the behind the scenes approach to seeing everything how it comes together.
Yeah, I should do that more really, because I think one of the things about the music industry that I've noticed is just the sort of it's really hard to figure out how things are done, especially when you're first sort of up and coming. And like I said, I've got Todd to help me, and that's amazing. But figuring it all out is really difficult, and I hope that as I continue to release music and continue to be in the industry, I hope to always be able to be transparent about how things come about, and to be able to help people, as their career kind of comes up, and just to kind of demystify how things are done, because there's no manual, and the rules and the benchmarks are changing all the time, and there's so many different ways that you can do things, which is great. There's so much room for everybody to be creative and put music out, but it's also really confusing because it's vast and huge, and a big confusing technological world out there. So I definitely probably need to just keep putting more behind the scenes stuff out there, because also that stuff's fun. Like I like to see the artists that I care about, how things came together, and it always interests me. So they were fun.
Yeah, it's thanks for doing that. And just another someone else that's appreciated obviously your work. It's not just what sits in front of the camera, it's all the work and hard work that gets done tirelessly by many people and friends, especially in this kind of situation. You tie everyone in to try and get you to help, and hopefully when you're on a bigger budget, you can return the favor back to them.
Yeah, right now I just cook for them and bribe them all with food, so that's working at the moment, but I don't know, it might be short-lived, we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk merch for a couple of seconds. You've got a couple of pieces, beautiful tee. Black for me is the option, but that's a great tee. I love it kind of reversed out too. It's really cool. And on talk to me about this little image as well.
My husband came up with this design, so I'm, like I said, the spiritual world is a big part of my life, and just sort of like capturing that sort of mystical kind of part of my life. So my husband came up with the design, and he one of the little fingers has the little love heart that I have tattooed on my hand on there, so they definitely look like my witchy hands with the little crystal ball.
Perfect. All right, there's a couple of spots you're looking out for more information on Jessica Luxx, XX.com. Talk to us about the Luxx name.
Yeah, and so it's not my birth name. Luxx actually came from probably like a lot of people's names that are their stage names. They kind of like roll on from a bunch of different things. But I actually had a jewelry line for a while, and it was called the House of Luxx, and Luxx is how you measure like glitter, like sparkly things. So it's a form of measurement for sparkly things. And I changed my name for when I was performing a lot and doing a lot of cover band work, just so that I could sort of have a little bit of privacy in my life, and kind of like separate the two in a way, and have performance Jessica and then regular Jessica, which when you're doing your own music, you don't really have that anymore, that they kind of mush back together. So it was definitely more of a the cover band thing. But it just kind of, I just kept it. I really liked the name, and it felt like a part of myself. It was like maybe like a bit of an alter ego in a way. So and I still do love shiny things. So it's still a part of me.
Yeah, I think that little line summarized you perfectly, as far as little glittery moments. I think I can very much see that, even though it's the first time I've spoken. I haven't met you personally in person yet, but I know you radiate that kind of feel already, and
thank you.
Some shots like this definitely show that for sure.
Thank you. That was done by my husband too, actually. He's good behind a camera.
I was going to say, shout out to your husband. He's done some great stuff for you.
He's good. That's the perks of having somebody who also gets your vision and can see a little bit deeper. It's nice. I know a lot of I know if you've got that partnership with someone close like that, it's really nice when you can be creative together. We have a lot of fun doing all the creative things that are there to be created.
Documented, very much so. And a couple of last questions for you. What kind of advice could you give to a young artist right now? Obviously, you vocal coach them, but it's so much more than vocal coaching, isn't it? In life and their journey. What kind of advice could you give to a young musician that's not necessarily starting out, but might just need a little bit of a gentle push or a voice in their head?
Yeah, I have the privilege of working with a lot of young musicians at the moment, and like people who writing their own music and are well on their way to becoming sort of emerging in a way. I would say don't be afraid to break the rules and ask questions and see how else things can be done, and push for something to be different, because different is what actually gets results. And I think on that as well, find some people that can help edit what you do. It's really hard to be sort of more of a sort of a practical kind of sense. It's really hard to self-assess and self-criticize what you do. Get your finished song and find someone that you really trust. Maybe not your mum, maybe not your sister or your significant other, like someone a little bit removed who you can show your material to, and get some constructive feedback on, your songwriting, maybe your forms, whether something goes for too long. Record yourself back, listen to things, and be critical in a kind and kind of open-minded way. So, and again, even in that, don't be afraid to just, break some rules and try new things and just see what works.
Beautiful advice, Jessica, from someone that's on the road and doing it currently, but also it must be really nice to work with some young talents and kind of nurture them, I guess, a little bit, as well as see incredible results, no doubt.
Oh, it's so special. And I think as I have moved from, a sort of working musician in cover bands and, getting a lot of experience there, to doing things very differently, because the original music kind of pursuit is very different to the world of cover band. At least it has been sort of in my experience here in Adelaide. So, it's, I think it's really, again, like I was saying before, like I hope to always be transparent, and I hope that they can, I can be someone that they can come to ask questions, but also that they can see my journey and see what works for me, and hopefully try out a few of those things, and also maybe learn from my mistakes or try something new and see if you can do it better. I implore you to. I think it's fantastic. The young people coming up now, I'm 35. So, I'm talking the 15, 16, 17-year-olds who are writing amazing music. They are really worth listening to. They have a perspective that is incredible. And, it's such a different world for them growing up. And, we're lucky to have, this sort of new perspective that the youth has now.
And a mentor and someone that does believe in them, and most importantly gets them to believe, are two really important morals. I'm sure you push and hand on to them, because it's true. If you're not believing in your own self or vision, sometimes you do need a bit of direction, but self-doubt's one thing. Being prepared to have a crack and, like you said, break the rules is really important.
Yeah, and don't take things personally. You'll stuff up. I promise you'll make mistakes, and I promise that you'll stuff up the favorite lyric of your song that you just wrote, and you'll do all of that. I can swear on my life that you will. But that's not a problem. It's not a problem. You just keep on going. Just don't stop. Just keep going.
Yeah. All right, a couple of last ones. I know I've said that about 5 times, but here we go with a couple of last ones. You've been great joining us tonight on episode 112 of So What's Been Happening. An artist that we may not necessarily know of, but someone you've either worked with or really look up to at the moment, someone that's really resonating with you.
Yeah, okay. Gosh. I have a couple, because here in Adelaide, do you mean sort of like local musicians?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yep. I think like here in Adelaide, we have this kind of incredible bubbling scene. So Ryan Martin-John is someone who I really admire. Again, he recorded The Temple and he's a musician himself. And I love his albums, and I love the way that he really follows his heart when it comes to writing. And you can hear that in the music. It's really present. And yeah, he's one that, just tries things out, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, he'll try something new. And I love that sort of like innovative kind of approach to things. And I think another person is Jen Luxx. She's just beautiful, and I really love her storytelling in her songwriting. So she has that amazing ability to take something like a poem and a written piece of music and put it to music. A written piece of text, like literature, and put it to music. And that's a huge challenge. I find that really challenging, that she to do it. She can kind of capture the essence of somebody else's literature and absolutely like blow it up and make it even more meaningful than when it was. Obviously I'm a bit biased because music speaks to me the most, but yeah, I really appreciate the way that she can do that. It's just incredible.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. And if you weren't a musician, or this wasn't for you, what would your other dream goal be?
I have a lot of hobbies. So I was working in costume, and I've really enjoyed that. But I think maybe something in food, because I really like cooking and I also really, really like eating. Otherwise, this is going to sound completely off center, but I would love to be, you're going to laugh, I'd love to be in finance, but only because I would love to be able to work with artists and musicians, and sort of like devise some kind of like sort of financial structure that you can learn to find some stability as an artist, because those two worlds don't often sit very comfortably with each other, and they kind of tend to be two separate things. And so yeah, I think I'd do something really weird like that, like find something boring like finance and make it fun by doing it for artists.
Yeah, right. It is very different, but it's definitely something that's
So
required, because it's so easy to have a pot of money and not know how to really maximize it
or have no money and not know how to get from point to A to point B. So yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of challenges amongst that, especially post-COVID, with tours and trying to get it all as tight as you can for as little money with as much impact, obviously, so it can return financially as much as possible to you. Because let's face it, that's you not only doing it just for love, it'd be great to do it for life. That's for sure.
Yeah, and to be able just to not have to worry about stuff like that, to be able to be the amazing artist that you are, and be able to just earn a living doing something that you're good at, like everybody else can.
Yeah. All right, last question I've got for you that one of the boys normally jumps on and asks our artists, the classic dinner table question. And you're having a dinner and you've got 6 or 5 other guests, a table of 6. They can be alive or living, living or dead, and they can. Who would your other 5 at the table be? They can be anyone.
Okay, wow. All right. Well, I'm gonna go a little bit cliche, but I stand by it. John Lennon. Definitely would get John Lennon. Then I would get Dr. Andrew Huberman. I've been listening to his podcast, and I'd like to be partial to a conversation between them two. I would have, oh my gosh, who else would I get? Joni Mitchell. She would need to come to the party. That would be great. I would love to have Lana Del Rey, because I think she would just add her own perspective to that conversation. That's 4, isn't it? 2 more. I would like to have my grandma. She could come, my nan. I would like to have her at the table with all of those people. She's incredibly intelligent, and I think that she would put a good spin on those conversations as well. And lastly, I think I'd have oh, that's tricky. I want to really make it count.
Yeah, the last seat. Yep.
The last seat would go to who else do I think does amazing things? Oh, do you know what? Maybe I just go really spicy and add a president who I feel like could or something like a prime minister or somebody who I feel like could do with the conversation of being around really good people and hear some really good perspectives. So not as almost like an intervention, maybe, respectfully.
There you go. So we won't nominate one in particular. We'll throw them all in the pot.
They can all come and they can all listen to the conversations that transpire between humanitarians and artists.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can learn a thing or two.
Absolutely. So, all right, where you're going to capture or catch up with Jessica is firstly jessicaluxx.com and also her link tree, which is really probably the spot that's all the current details of some of the stuff that's coming up straight away. So that's your first kind of port of call. So firstly and lastly, Jessica Luxx, you're a star, and thanks for joining us on this show, on our humble little podcast that we like to continue to just promote music and meet new people, have a chat and understand what makes artists tick. So thanks for coming on board this journey on a Tuesday night.
Thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
All right.
Yay,
thank
see you in Melbourne.
Once again. Yes, absolutely. Early November is the spot you're looking out for, Jessica. So make sure you're there. Thanks again, Jess.
Thank you.
Brilliant. That was a great chat with Jessica Luxx. And we look forward to Thursday night's chat with Justine McAllister. So just a couple of people, if there'd be a quick thank you before we finish to many artists and friends that have jumped on the podcast over time. So many more than this, but this is kind of the list that we put up. And enjoy the week, most importantly. It's only Tuesday, plenty of the week left, and make sure you get out and see a band over the next few days. So look after yourself and take it easy.